Continuing on with my kitchen update, breakfast bar nook area, cleaning up the area first, and then putting paper down to protect the countertops. For this project, I didn't want to deal with mortar, tile set, whatever. So I got muscle bound, it's called. It's basically a big sticker for tile. The adhesive is strong enough to hold tile on the wall. It's pretty awesome. It's definitely more expensive than if you just get some tile set, mix it up yourself, but if it's in your budget, it's so much easier to use and it's so much quicker and less messy, obviously. My mom actually had some leftover from a project she did and gave it to me, and that's why it looks different. So tile for the wall, this back wall that I'm doing, and this is actually gray. It's kind of hard to tell, but I totally forgot I got gray. I thought I got a white one, but it's actually gray tile, and I got this like 2 years ago, and I do really like it. I'm just like really having trouble with grout color and what to pick. I don't think a dark, when I put it up to dark, I don't think I like that. So, and I don't really want a gray, like an actual, like the color that this is, like, because you know, that blends in, and I want it to stand out a bit, especially because I'm going to probably do glitter. So I want it to like stand out just a little bit. So I'm thinking a lighter one, but I don't really want to do a white. So I'm just like having trouble. At Home Depot, they have this like little slip for grout color. It's hard to tell, but this is where it's going to be, which is a darker corner in general. I don't really want to go super bright white. I'm thinking either Snow White or bright white, but I guess this Arctic white. So with this gray, you know, I'm thinking like a Snow White so that it's lighter than this, because it's like this platinum and rolling fog are like pretty spot on with what this gray is. And I don't really care for bone. And I think Arctic would just be too light. So I'm thinking Snow White or bright white. I clearly can't make a decision at all. And I go back and forth. And I don't know what to do. So yeah, in a different video, you will obviously see the grout I pick. But I just kind of wanted to put that in this video to show my thought process on grout and what I plan to do. Anywho, once I get the sticker up, I measure to find the middle of the wall and the middle of the tile. Hopefully this is so I have it even on both ends. And what I mean is even with the tile, so that I don't have a huge full piece at one end and then just tiny pieces on another. This row is the hardest. There's 3 outlets. Why? I go back and forth on if I should have started on like a middle or a top row, because it would have been so much easier. I'm a glutton for punishment, so I obviously start with the bottom row, and it's very hard. Another silly thing is you'll see that I'm leaving the muscle bound on a lot of the times. I basically did that because this took me days to do, because I would get sick and tired of trying to figure out cuts with these outlets, and I just wasn't sure on how the muscle bound worked and if I could just take the top layer off and the sticker would be completely fine. I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to, you know, take the top layer off and this sticker is very strong, so it probably would have been completely fine, but I didn't know. So that's why I kind of just cut the muscle bound in such odd ways at times and silly ways, but you know, you live and you learn. So I did what I thought was best. Also notice throughout the video, I tend to take the tiles off and on from the directions. I don't think you're supposed to do it. You could maybe do it once. I definitely do it a lot more than once. Again, this stuff is so sticky. It does still stay. I could tell some of the pieces that I did that too often on, the sticky definitely started to go down. It's so strong that it wasn't that big a deal, but I just wouldn't recommend doing it more than like once or twice. But you'll notice that I do it way more than once or twice. I also bought this tile cutter from Menards or Home Depot, I don't even know. Mostly because it was cold out and I did not want to use a wet saw. So I thought I would take it back to when wet saws weren't a thing and just try and do the cuts by hand basically. And you'll see me struggle quite a bit. And I also hurt myself a lot, so it's super fun. It actually is pretty fun. Like once I got the hang of it, it wasn't too bad. I'd still kind of hurt myself even by the end of the cuts when you think I would be an expert. But yeah, once I get the hang of it, and I didn't want to use a wet saw on these tiny cuts, especially because I would have to do so many. Made you think she gave it back. How did that break that quickly? That's crazy. In this part, I am putting outlet extenders on because obviously that tile is thick. You can see I think it's like a half an inch thick. I don't quite remember, or maybe it's 1/4, but it's obviously thicker than a normal, outlet. So I bought little plastic outlet extenders, and you have to turn off your power to your outlets, obviously. Make sure you check it. And then they're literally called outlet extenders. And I put them on and I had to keep adjusting. I would put I think I put 2 on, it wasn't enough, and I think I ended up using like 3 or 4. So it's just trial and error, but it's pretty cool. And then you can put on your outlet cover and it's easy peasy. Yep, I definitely hurt myself with that one. The biggest thing I kept doing was pinching my finger with it because I would snap it without realizing my finger was in between. And I did that a lot more times than you would think I should. I should have learned my lesson after one, but definitely didn't. And you'll see that I did it quite often, actually. I finally need to break out the wet saw. It's because I got to the ends and I did not want to use, obviously, a tile cutter. On my videos, a lot of my videos, you'll notice that I don't capture a lot, especially if I'm doing something inside and then I have to go outside and cut something. I don't like taking my phone out to that section because I hate setting up, even if it is just on a tripod, it's so annoying. I hate adjusting. I just want to get it done. That's why a lot of my shots are either short or I don't record everything because I either get a quick thing and then I'm done. And on this section, I finally got to the end on the left side and I didn't record this, but I have a picture of it. When I measured on that end, I didn't measure correct and I cut it very short. I don't even know what I was trying to measure. But this is why then I took out the pieces that I didn't cut and I just put them on because I didn't want to go back and cut it again, obviously. So that is why a lot of times I have shots that are just really quick, or maybe I didn't get the shot because I love editing, but filming stuff is not always my strong suit. So I just don't always think about it. I forget about it, even though this is, I'm doing this to have fun and I'm doing it because I want something to do because I'm a mom of two and I need to do something. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, I end up filming because I can just set my phone down, but then I step away forgetting about it. So that's why I don't always have shots. I make a lot of mistakes and then I miss a lot of my mistakes filming it because I don't think to carry my phone around because I'm not an influencer. I'm just doing this because I like to do it, but it's my rambling. It's basically just to say I made a huge mistake. You can see with the picture. So now I'm just rectifying it by taking apart the piece and then I put up the short end even though it was supposed to just fit in perfectly. So I basically had to kind of readjust, and that is that long story. You'll also notice I'm not using tile spacers in this project because even though I have a hard time with imperfections, I'm not using the things that could help me with, my spacing. I'm hard on myself for about imperfections, but I don't do the things needed to help me not have imperfections. So with the spacing, I notice the spacing is off on that end. So I just take it apart and then I put it up individually and, get it done. I threw on gloves. Big tip when you're doing a wet saw with tile, especially tile that will flake, put on gloves, because I had so many little owies that bled a lot on my fingers because of this tile, and because you shoo the stuff away out of the saw area, not thinking that they're sharp, even if it doesn't hurt right away. And then you'll look down and you'll be like, there's blood all over. And that is what happens. So why I have band-aids all over on my hand by the end of this project, and why I needed to wear gloves. So pro tip, wear gloves. Make sure tile is completely dry before you put it on. So that's why I have a towel. I had a couple towels lying around, and I would dry all the wetness off. And then it also recommends like a hair dryer if things are so wet. And this is why it took me days, because when I did use the wet saw, I would end up leaving them and sometimes not doing it till the next day. Even though I only did the first row, hopefully this wasn't too awful to only watch one row being done, but this just took me so many days, and I just thought it would be good to show on how tricky it is. It's not difficult. It's not a difficult project. It's just tricky. So I would just recommend taking your time, especially when you need to cut like this. And if you don't feel like, breaking out a wet saw, just know it can take time. But once I get all those little tiny pieces on, I'm basically done with the first row. And on the next video, I'm going to show the rest of the process. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you got some enjoyment from it and watching me struggle. This is how that row looks, but come back and watch the next video where you can see how the wall turns out with all this beautiful tile. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.